All right. We are starting with the previous year question analysis, right? And few things which should be discussed before we start the analysis as to what are the perspectives in the mind of student with respect to previous years and how this journey of previous year questions will evolve, right? In the coming 5 months or so, right? होता क्या है what happens is that you start the previous year question analysis with a lot of energy, enthusiasm, right? That okay, I will whatever is being told to me, usko I will imbibe very, very diligently, and accordingly I will proceed my journey with respect to whatever is the scope of the previous year plus whatever is required, right? And this remains the scenario, let's say in January or in the month in which you have started, right? But what happens as and how the time passes from mid-March to mid-April, especially the time after mid-March, what happens? The automated reconstruction of this journey, which is the market, how the market is telling you to respond, right? Or the how the market is telling you to prepare, keeping aside what the PYQs are telling you to prepare. That takes over you, and then you somewhere shift your perspective of PYQs from preparing in according to that. वहां से you shifted to कि that okay, I have had enough of PYQs, and now I will shift my preparation according to how the current affairs are coming, how the test series is coming, how somebody else is telling me to prepare, right? And in these last 2 months, the whole game shifts, right? So a student who has started very well in, let's say, January, February, was doing very well till mid-March with respect to the PYQs and all, that student gets distracted from mid-March, and the eventual automated, the response of the market takes over you. Do this test series, this topic is important, someone saying that is important, and the whole analysis of PYQs is kept aside. Now your focus on with respect to PYQs only remains that okay, I will see the questions and whatever is relevant I will do it, right? Does that happen to a lot many of you, that you have prepared PYQs well till mid-March, but in the last 2 months or so you have forgotten कि भाई उसमें था क्या, what was there in it? हुआ किसी के साथ पहले? As in, to put in my question in the right way, what I'm trying to say, what you did for PYQs or what you will do for the PYQs in, let's say, January, February, for a lot many students that does not stick till the end, right? And then we are like, yeah, PYQs, why are they important? I was not able to solve even a single question, right? Does that happen? And please, I would request all of you to turn on your videos, right? You are not a secret agent working for someone that if you turn on your videos, someone will come here and steal your privacy, right? The more you interact in this conversation, in this session, the more you will take from this session, right? And whatever we learn today, jot them down. The important learnings, jot them down, right? And as I've told you now, it is not important what you take on January 8th, right? But it would be important what you keep with yourself for the next coming 4.5 months and eventually execute on May 25th, right? You got my point? Anyone जिसको ये डाउट है कि PYQs important है या नहीं? Because this is a thing which hear again and again from the students. Are the PYQs important? Are the PYQs important? Should we do it? Or should we do some test series, etc., etc.? Any doubt? on this thing, whether they are important or not. Firstly, let me tell you a simple analogy. Can you defeat your enemy without knowing the strengths and the strengths and the weaknesses of your enemy? Can you defeat it? How, if you feel that you might defeat it with by striking on his hand, the enemy might have the weapon in his leg, right? Somewhere else. So even if a single question is not coming directly from PYQ, you have to know how your enemy comes prepared, right? In this case, UPSC. Take UPSC as your opponent, and you would be more energized to defeat it. Do not take it in an emotional sense. No, no, it is my first love and it is my last love, right? And I will not do anything bad to UPSC. You cannot do anything bad to them, right? But if you have that mentality now, that whatever challenge UPSC is throwing at me, I will in equal sense get back to it, right? If it is coming up with this new challenge, I will get back to it. But having said that, I will not even know what UPSC is doing is like entering the battle and not knowing from where the shot will come at you, right? So from today onwards, whether you're a part of this course or not, or whether you are doing PYQs on your own, right? From today onwards, you will not believe in that market created rumor that PYQs are not important, right? Each and every word mentioned there, each and every line written there, right? And the essence of that line is communicating something to you. It is upon you whether you are able to take it or not, right? And we will see that. So we will see it as the course proceeds, na? How this thing was asked to you in, let's say, the previous year, and how the same thing got repeated in the next year, and how this is the where the trap was set, right? With respect to PYQs, what is required from you, and also with respect to your overall preparation, be a good student, right? Do not be an overconfident student. Do not be an underconfident student. Just like a good student in a school, right? What was the scenario of the school? That you will be given certain homework, you will be taught something in the classroom, and you will do that homework. The tests will happen. You analyze the test, right? And you are humble enough. You're not engaging in unnecessary things outside of your scope, right? You have chosen a particular path. This is the best way to clear UPSC. What happens since we graduate now, and the graduation is that time that we tend to overestimate what we can do, right? And as a result, we start losing focus on the basic things. कि भाई पढ़ना भी important है, right? We start underestimating this very basic thing. And I can assure you with all in whatever way I have seen UPSC evolving in the last 4 5 years, this whole market created myth around eliminations will not work, right? Be very aware about this thing. This will not work at all. आप इसके सहारे, if you go based on this, this whole scenario, this whole perspective, that some other tricks have now come in and this will work now. See, मार्केट में हर टाइप के लोग हैं, वो आपको कुछ ना कुछ बताते ही रहेंगे, ठीक है? दे विल कीप टेलिंग यू ऑल दोस थिंग्स. दे हैव टू सेल, right? And in a capitalist model, especially matlab in a mixed model, the capitalism dominates. They are not wrong if they are selling, but you are wrong if you are not able to filter out what is wrong for you, what is right for you. Again, what comes important is this is possible only if you know your enemy, only if you know your opponent. Otherwise, any and everyone who is telling you any and everything, you will believe in that. Do you believe? होगा ना ये? जब आपको पता ही नहीं है सही क्या है गलत क्या है, when you do not know this thing, How will you challenge someone who is taking you towards the wrong path? And promise to yourself you will not fall for these shortcuts, these techniques. That now these 10 have faded and another 10 will come, right? Okay, this year this will work. No, nothing will work. Your knowledge is the 80% weapon you have. Strengthen it as much as possible, especially since 2021, right? The second weapon is analysis of PYQs, right? You're getting my point? Analysis is the word, right? Yeah, on this note, we will start with our journey of PYQs. Whatever I've spoken in the last 15 minutes, let that be your mantra with respect to your PYQs for the coming 130, 140 days, right? इससे भटकना नहीं है, ठीक है? N number of temptations will come in front of you, right? And the temptations will keep on becoming stronger as the time proceeds. Solve UPSC in 1 hour, clear UPSC in 1 day, in 1 week, in 1 month, everything will come. ठीक है? आप बच्चे नहीं हो कि you keep falling for it again and again. This exam requires consistent preparation. इसका कोई शॉर्टकट नहीं बना है आज तक. No shortcut has been created till now, and it can never be created. You just see the span and the expanse of this exam, the horizon where they're asking, do you even think a shortcut can work? ठीक है? So promise to yourself that you will be a good student, right? All right. On this note, we will start a journey with the PYQs. Is the screen visible to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Is it visible? Right? Or just a second, just a second. Just give me a minute. All right. I'm audible again.
Yes, sir.
All right. So we are starting, and I would request all of you to please turn on your videos. आप नहीं हैं कोई सीक्रेट स्पाई एजेंट जिसकी प्राइवेसी इन्वेड हो जाएगी. ठीक है. Just be a good student. Do whatever gives you better output from this. Right? We are proceeding. We are starting the most crucial journey of this exam. Right? All right. First question. And 2024 was an outlier in terms of slightly more difficult questions were given to you, right? In PYQ analysis, it also becomes important that what needs to be left, right? This you should have in your mind, and this should be seen as the each question proceeds, right? Okay, first is, which of the following is a work attributed to playwright Bhasha, right? काव्यालंकार, नाट्यशास्त्र, माध्यम योग, and Mahabhashya. Do you know who has written this thing, Natyashastra? Bharat Muni, have you heard? Not
Yes, sir.
related to Bhasha, right? Then Mahabhashya, have you learned that it was related to Patanjali, right? These two get eliminated. Now we are left between, and I'm talking about the options which are easily present in most of the sources. If you have decently followed a source, B and D would have had been would have had gone through your eyes, right? B and D gets eliminated. A and C are the options which are left now, right? And यहाँ पर थोड़ा सा मुश्किल हो जाता है, right? A and C they become difficult because see playwright and Alankar that might sound similar. The point I'm trying to make, this was a question which was difficult in the real exam hall, right? Even after you should have reached up till A or C. If you were not able to reach up till that point, your preparation was somewhere lacking. Okay, keep on assessing your preparation. If you were not reaching till A and C, your preparation was missing. Yes, after A and C, it could have been possible that you were not able to answer the question, right? And therefore, this was a question which was either meant to be left or it was meant to be attempted in a 50-50 scenario, right? Clear? Keep on assessing your level of preparation. If you are a student who just risked his question by just attempting it, you are on the wrong path. Someone has taught you wrong, right? Or you have learned wrong. And if you are a student who was not even able to eliminate B and D, again you were on the wrong path, right? Getting my point? Yes. All right. Right. So B and D should have been eliminated. Also see this thing, an important thing. UPSC was trying to confuse you between Bhasha and Bharat Muni. One of the objectives was this as well. That In the exam stress, you might equate Bhasha and Bharat Muni, and you might get confused with it, and you might mark this as the option, right? Therefore, calmness in the exam hall, right? No matter what is happening, you have to remain calm. And there can be a scenario where this question was sandwiched between easier questions, right? And due to the impact of this particular question, you got the other questions wrong as well. And we will see this thing. We will solve last 3-4 years paper on the real actual paper so that you get to know कि नहीं भाई यहाँ गड़बड़ मुझसे हो गई थी होती है often, right? This happens na, no matter what you have done, when you go into the real exam hall, it's like gaya bhai sab. Therefore, solving the questions on the real paper is extremely important, right? Now, from now onwards, what becomes our, scope of preparation is obviously literature was there. You should be aware about these options, right? And the genres of this option. For example, indirectly, UPSC has slightly touched that dance wala aspect, right? Now, if you are not familiar with the basics of dance and you somewhere आप उस चीज को वहां जाकर यू मेक इट अ पॉइंट कि यार ये कौन पूछता है that this is a newer theme. No, this was just dropped to you a year back, right? Similarly, Mahabhashya by Patanjali. What if this year the question comes on Patanjali? What will you do? Will you cry there? But someone has prepared PYQs in the right way. That person was prepared with Patanjali, and he might answer the question. He might not as well, but he's definitely better prepared than you, right? Getting my point? All right. So this is the basic information. I will also provide you some other content related information with respect to the options, right? But for now, our focus is on this thing, right? All right. I'll show you that document as well, but later on. Shall we move to the next question? यहाँ से आपने learnings ले लिए, right? 20, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, right? These are the 5 years where you need to take your maximum learnings, right? And even if it means spending 2 extra minutes on a particular question, spend that time, right? Sanghabhuti, an Indian Buddhist monk who traveled to China at the end of 4th century AD, was the author of a commentary on. Before we move forward on this question, let me tell you, this was a question which could not have been attempted in the real exam. No matter how well you are prepared, this question was unattemptable, right? But what learnings this question is bringing to us? That in the theme of Buddhism, UPSC is now focusing on this sub-theme, right? Another thing, there can be a chance that this is the hidden theme there, the cultural relations of India with other countries. होता था ना इंडिया साउथ ईस्ट एशिया रिलेशंस, इंडिया चाइना रिलेशंस. There's a chapter on that, especially with respect to Buddhism. Travelers is another theme. What we prepare, the travelers who visit India, UPSC ने उल्टा पूछा, right? That means next year or coming year, there could be a question regarding the travelers who visited India. And if you feel this is a new theme, no, 2024 may they've asked you in another way. Another thing, the literature which they have mentioned, whether it is connecting to the Theravada Buddhism or it is connecting to the Mahayana school of Buddhism, right? Who has written it? What is the scope of this writing? At least 2-3 lines, right? That should be with you. I'm talking about this much information at least, right? What if they ask you this thing again this year? What if this gets related to this? And I'll give you example of this thing as well, right? क्लियर है? मिनिमम ये स्कोप रहेगा आपको when you go into the depth of an option. This is the scope with respect to the theme they have explored. This is the scope with respect to the information we need with respect to an option, right? Now होगा क्या? What will happen eventually? You will prepare ancient medieval history, right? Let's say till January 15th, January 20th, right? Everything is well prepared. Then the other subjects will take over you, right? Eventually, the analysis of medieval history, ancient history would be forgotten, right? Gradually, gradually. And mid-March, suddenly a rush would come, wherein the current affairs here and there, unnecessary, complete garbage would come at you. The test series would come at you, and you would be troubled as to should I focus on the test series, or should I focus on the current affairs, or should I focus on the PYQs? Then the FOMO comes. No, no, if everyone is focusing on test series and current affairs, how should I not? And then the PYQs take a backseat. And whatever analysis you had done in your first 20 days of January, everything gets washed out. And then when UPSC asks you the same thing on May 25th, पेपर मुश्किल था, हमसे नहीं हुआ, right? Ancient history, medieval history has a broader scope. No one can estimate क्या scope है इसका. Obviously, there would be 3-4 questions where no one can tell you कि क्या scope है. For example, this particular question. But your selection is not getting determined by these questions. However, your selection is definitely getting determined by questions like this, especially if you mark B as the answer or you mark D as the answer, right? इतना सब है एक एक सवाल में. There is this level of information contained in one question. And then you ask, is the PYQ important? Right? This is the way of doing PYQs. See, UPSC ना इज्जत मांगता है, right? It's a very, very, उसको एक ना रिस्पेक्ट चाहिए. UPSC wants respect. And if you do not give it the respect ना, वो आपको आकर परेशान करेगा. It will trouble you again and again. Mind this thing, right? Next is consider any doubt till this question. Consider the following properties included in the World Heritage List released by UNESCO. Shantiniketan, Rani Ki Vav, Hoysala's Mahabodhi Temple Complex. How many of them have been included in 2023? Current affair question. If you've done, you know. If you're not done, you do not know. Right? Now, what is the scope of the current affairs? हर छोटी छोटी चीज प्रिपेयर कर लेते हैं. We tend to prepare each and every trivial thing, and due to that garbage in our head, this sort of important thing escapes our mind, right? One could be, I'm talking about the scenario where you're getting this question wrong, right? Due to that rush of preparing everything, you might not have revised this particular thing, one, and you got the question wrong, or you were not able to attempt it. Secondly, again, this question was sandwiched between difficult questions, and again you got that wrong, right? आंसर तो सबको पता है क्या होगा इसमें. आई एम नॉट टॉकिंग अबाउट द आंसर है. इट्स अ वेरी फैक्चुअल क्वेश्चन. इफ यू नो, यू नो. यू डू नॉट नो, यू डू नॉट नो. बट वी आर डिस्कसिंग कैसे, हाउ यूपीएससी is intending to get your answer wrong here, right? Now everyone would say, how come the current affairs have become important in culture or ancient history? They have been important since the last 3 years, and there's a scope which UPSC is picking up. We've discussed this last year as well, last to last year as well. We'll see how this thing has been explored by UPSC in 2022 as well, and slightly in 2023 as well. And the scope is very similar. The current affairs which are of extreme high national and international significance, culture mein, that is your scope. UPSC has not went, you not gone behind it, beyond that scope. Therefore, we can easily restrict our preparation of current part of culture in that periphery, right? Prime Minister visiting something, a very, very significant site getting explored, which is taking the history either 500 years back or 500 years later, right? UNESCO doing something, right? ASI doing something. ठीक है? This is the scope of current affair culture. Not कि इधर ये छोटी सी साइट डिस्कवर हो गई, उधर वो छोटी सी हो गई डिस्कवर, right? Someone has performed this dance, someone has performed that dance. Even if you prepare this sort of trivia, and if you have had an experience of prelims in past, you know कि वो कितनी आपके दिमाग में रहती हैं ये चीजें लास्ट तक. You know that intangible heritage list, even if you remember na, by the end of 24th May, 10 p.m., 10:30 p.m., you would feel like I am the best prepared person on in this planet, right? Let alone वो छोटी छोटी चीजें तो, right? Therefore, this was the scope. And if you're not able to attempt it, this was an easy question, right? This was not at all a difficult question because similar questions have been asked in 2022 as well. And in the last years as well, we have told students that this is the scope of current affair preparation with respect to culture. This is what you need to prepare, right? The answer is this and this. Now, the related things. Shanti Niketan, Rabindranath Tagore, modern history, right? Hoysalas as a regional kingdom. Who was before it? Who was after it? Bodh Gaya and its importance with respect to Buddhism. If you're doing this sort of preparation, you are doing current affairs right. If you're just looking at the answer, भाई फिर वो PYQ तैयारी नहीं है. That is not the PYQ preparation, right? Am I clear here? Shall we move forward? I will spend some extra time on 2024, 2023, 2022, and eventually the time spent on a question will reduce, right? Because you will start learning gradually what we are talking about, right? Clear? And another thing, this thing also now becomes important. Have a fair idea of this. It does not matter whether a student knows this thing on Jan 8th or not. What matters is whether a student is able to carry this thing on May 25th or not, right? Clear? Next, with reference to ancient India, Gautam Buddha was generally known by which of the following epithets? Nayaput, Shakyamuni, Tathagat. an attemptable question, at least you will able to boil it down to two options. This is very easy. Shakyamuni is always referred in the common sources with respect to Gautam Buddha. Moreover, if you know, he was connected with the Shakya clan, right? So that's easy. Tathagat is also referred with respect to Gautam Buddha. Again, in the common sources, it is mentioned. This Naya Put has not been mentioned. Now, one doubt could be, or one, the what could come in the mind that maybe Naya Put is related to Lord Buddha, or it might be related to Lord Mahavira. इतना आप समझ पा रहे हैं that UPSC will, if it wants you to test on Lord Buddha, either that will be correct or the alternative answer could be Lord Mahavira, right? This is similar to saying if they're testing you in Shaivism, either that could be correct or the answer could be Vaishnavism, right? ऐसे ही चलता है and we'll see as the things proceed, right? This is wrong. This is wrong. Answer was either B or C. Now it depends whether you were able to recall option one or not, because this is not present in common sources. See, मेरे लिए ना बहुत easy है ये बोलना. This is also present in the source. But if it is not, I will clearly say to you, this is not present in the common source, right? However, however, one thing which is present in the source is Nayavad in Jainism. इतना अगर दिमाग चल जाए उधर, which is very difficult to tell you. To tell you this is very difficult. Saying this by sitting here, everything relaxed, ठीक है, वो बहुत easy है. In the exam hall, this is very difficult. However, what I am telling you is this. This thing will save you at so many places that you can't even imagine, right? If you know Nayavad with respect to Jainism, this clearly hints that this is with respect to Lord Mahavira, right? And moreover, another thing, if you had prepared Buddhism decently and you have never come across Nayaput, take that option wrong, right? देखिए, one option, one thing could be you've not prepared Buddhism, therefore you're not aware कि भाई if Nayaput is there or not. In that sense, आप B और C तक पहुंचेंगे ही नहीं, you will not even reach till B or C. But if you have reached till B or C, and you know that my preparation of Buddhism was decent, but I've never heard of this Nayaput, most likely UPSC is troubling me, and this is related to Lord Mahavira. And even Lord Mahavira had a lot many names. Arhant, Conqueror, Mahavira, Jinnah, right? ये this level of thinking works in the exam hall, right? As I always say, you have to navigate the prelims paper. It's like searching for the hints again and again, and not feeling defeated till the bell rings, right? Because something will come up if you are calm and confident. Something will come up. You will be calm and confident if you are prepared well. You'll be prepared well only if you have given yourself a decent time to prepare, not relied on 1 week strategy or 1 month strategy, right? Clear है यहाँ से चीजें, right? So this is the things which are present in the common sources. I will tell that to you along with the proofs. The things which are not present in the sources, I will tell that to you, right? But that does not mean that you keep on expanding your sources. That has no end, right? Clear? Our objective is if they are asking us 10, if they're asking us 10 ancient medieval questions, let us just let us just try and get 6 right. काम हो गया. The work is done. Right? Shall we move forward? All right. The next question is archaeological site, the state, and description. When we see the question, it's like it's a very intimidating type of question. कभी जिंदगी में ना सुनी हो ऐसी places, right? It's not like the Brahmaski or Brahmagiri which everyone hears, right? These are the places which most likely none of you would have heard. This require a decent level of preparation. You understand? If you see this question and it is very clearly written in the question that you have to have had a good preparation, without which you will not be able to solve this question. ठीक है? Good thing is this was solvable from NCERT. Let me show you. What is this? Chandraketugarh. This is an NCERT map, right? And do not assume it as some NCERT map. Just a year back, they asked this place, Dhanya Katak. We'll see that thing as well. They've asked this place as well. They've asked this place as well, right? And while we were discussing last year, see the coincidence is such. While we were discussing this Dhanya Katak last year, I showed them this same image, right? This image, this one. Yeah, this one, the same one, right? This one. I showed them. I told them that Chandra Ketugarh could be next on their list. पूछ भी लिया उन्होंने. Another thing, Chandra Ketugarh, they have asked earlier as well. 2016-17, they have asked Chandra Ketugarh, right? With respect to its importance in terracotta, not as a port town, right? So, if you were not able to solve Chandra Ketugarh, you were not prepared well. You should have gone down to B or C. Another thing, Inamgaon is mentioned in most of the sources. I'll show you. Right, that thing. I'll show you tomorrow. Right? Inamgaon is mentioned in 6th class NCERT as one of the places. Right? So if you know that one is wrong, two is right, what is the answer? Right? Now getting to the answer is very easy. Me sitting here telling you this is the answer, it's very easy. Let us just get back to the genesis. How we can get the answer of this question in the real example. We see this question. Only if we are calm and confident, we'll be able to read this question, right? Otherwise, we'll not be able to read. Secondly, only if we have prepared decently well, we'll be able to eliminate one and take up two. आप समझ रहे हैं the process which is required. Otherwise, you'll get your answer wrong. Another thing which I would like to tell you, rock cut shrines, rock cut places, हर कोई prepare करता है. Everyone prepares. What I'm telling you, had it been a very prominent rock cut shrine, you would have read its name. अगर आपने जनता पढ़ा, if you've read Alora, if you've read Carle, if you've read Bhaj, right? If you've read Junagadh caves. Why not this one? So everything is supporting us, taking us towards this option. So calmness, confidence, preparation, right? And then knowing that yes, this is wrong, this is right, the probability is working towards option B, that probability of option B being correct is 99%. There's a 1% chance as well, C might be correct as well. But prelims will work on probability. The more you are prepared, the more your mind will hint you towards a particular option as the right option. The higher probability of that option. And you will be always correct in that, right? Your probability will get wrong when you're not prepared well, when you're not calm, when you are not seeing or when you're not getting impacted by the previous question and its impact on the next question, right? Clear hai? Any doubt till here? Right? I've written down the comments which we are discussing, right? This Chandraketugarh, this has been asked earlier as well, right? Option number 3 mentioned in 6th class NCRT. Another thing I'll tell you later. This option, the third one in Amgao, has connection with Jorwe culture. UPSC explored Jorwe culture recently as well. 2024 May, right? Another thing, another thing which UPSC is indirectly hinting you in this question. When you come in 2025, be prepared with the Stone Age, the prehistory, the megalithic times. I might drop a question at you, right? If I'm asking you Neolithic sites, be prepared with it, right? If you're not doing this level of analysis with respect to at least the last 5 years, you're not doing PYQ analysis, you're just looking at them. And I'll keep on repeating this thing n number of times. On this date, what you do, that's not important. What you carry with you on May 25th, that will matter, right? All right. So this was this an attemptable question? Yes, if you were prepared well, right? Was this an attemptable question? It was, it could have been boiled down to two options, right? Yes, this was attemptable. No, not at all. You could not have solved it. Again, this could have been boiled down to two options. Are you understanding the scope where you will be standing in the real exam hall? After preparing decently for ancient medieval culture. Shall we move forward? Next question. There are no parables in Upanishads. Upanishads were composed earlier than the Puranas. Do you think this is possible?
No, sir.
Such a huge text. We do not even know how many subparts it has. And we are saying that there is not even a single parable in it. How will you even verify this thing? How will you even verify this thing? This thing can be possible only and only when a particular book says that Upanishads are devoid of parables, right? अगर ऐसा कुछ extreme सच होता, had it been an extreme truth, the book would have mentioned it. Otherwise, there is no logic behind it. It is illogically extreme statement and not possible. Second is Upanishads were composed earlier than the Puranas. A very well-known statement, a very well-known fact. Upanishads came earlier than Puranas. Do you think any sort of guesswork can work here? Your knowledge would be working here, na? If you know, you know. You do not know, you do not know. Hints क्या है? UPSC might come in 2025 in detail on this. The whole philosophy of Upanishads, right? How that gets linked to different philosophies. Upanishads was somewhere closer to what Buddhism and Jainism thought, or the philosophy of Buddhism and Jainism. Upanishads was in a way retaliation of the traditional sources like the Vedas and all, right? Am I clear here? ये सवाल गलत करने का मतलब है you are going in the exam hall to come out defeated. I've seen many students like this, इसलिए मैं बोल रहा हूँ. They would be, damn prepared till 9:25 a.m., 25th of May. When the bell rings, दिमाग में prelims come, prelims is lesser in their mind, the next attempt starts ringing more in their mind. Automatically, they've not even seen the paper, right? आपको वहां हारने नहीं जाना है. You are going there to get a victory, right? Therefore, in the coming 130, 140 days, it is important that you train your mind as well, have good mental strength as well. क्योंकि यूपीएससी परेशान करेगा, यूपीएससी will trouble you, right? Believe me on this. 2024 was slightly easier than 2023. Slightly, not very much. जितना एक दिमाग में बना दिया गया ना, not very much. Slightly. 2024 was in a way different challenge than 2023. In this respect, जैसा यूपीएससी का खेल रहा है, right? As UPSC had been, 2025 might be way harder than 2023 as well, right? So be prepared. I'm not demotivating you, not discouraging you, but this could be what would be visible in front of you on 25th of May. And it is always better to be prepared for shocks and surprises than to be shocked at 9:30 a.m. ठीक है. ठीक है. Importance of. And again see, अगर ये सवाल sandwiched है between difficult questions, chances of you getting it wrong increase manifold. Therefore, take every question on its merit. भाई इस सवाल से I'll be getting 2 marks. Let me give it the respect it deserves. I will not hamper this question just because preceding and succeeding question is not in my favor. Getting my point? Shall we move forward? All right. आगे एक और सवाल. If the following was the latest inclusion in intangible cultural heritage list, the answer is obviously Garba. But what I'm telling you, this, right? This year as well, since UPSC has not deviated from this trend in the last 3 years, this year as well, the most safest option and the most optimal option is to prepare culture current affairs in this horizon. See, if UPSC wants to go beyond this horizon, na, most likely no one would be able to answer it. Right? That should be very clear to you. But if UPSC stays in this horizon, which most likely it will, because that is how this exam should be, right? It should not be about testing each and every trivia regarding culture. It should be about testing a major things which are in current affairs, right? Plus your knowledge of the static. This is how it should be. And most likely UPSC will stay in this boundary. And if it does, and if you cannot attempt such a question, you would be at a loss. कितने सवाल थे? दो. How many marks? Four. If you get it wrong, one question means you are, you know, you lose out on 4.66 marks. Because your competitor ने उसने तो सही attempt कर दिया ना. He got a +2, you got a -2.66. One question 4.66, two questions is around 9.3 marks. Just because आप अपने FOMO से बाहर नहीं आ पाए. Just because you could not take this preparation practically. Just because you did not listen to what UPSC was saying, but you were hell-bent on listening to what every other person except UPSC was saying. Right? Marks will not be decided by, or your whether you'll be writing mains or not, that will not be decided by your knowledge about Sanghabhuti, but it will be decided by your knowledge about Upanishads, your knowledge about these current affairs, your knowledge about Lord Buddha, right? Am I clear here? Any doubt? 2024 is done. If you have any doubt, पूछ लो. Else you can keep your doubts reserved for the till the end of the session as well, right? Shall we move forward with 2023? And एक सेशन में 2 hours बैठने की आदत डालो. Get into the habit of sitting in a session for minimum 2 hours. You would be required to have that minimum level of focus in the real exam hall as well. And when a session is giving you more benefit in the live environment, attend it live. Because in the recordings, what usually happens, you'll be there for 30 minutes, 10 minutes break. No, no, बहुत हो गया, right? Then you'll be there for 30 minutes, again 10 minutes break. The live session, be with your pen and paper, jot down what's important, be like a good student, right? ऐसा नहीं कि 10 जगह दिमाग चल रहा है. No, when you're here, be here, right? Shall we move forward? Next is, in which of the following regions was Dhanya Katak, which flourished as a prominent Buddhist center under the Mahasangikas? Andhra region, Gandhar region, Kalinga region, Magad region. If you see, that's very difficult. But there were two hints, or, or there were two, yes, I would say hints, which UPSC was dropping. One was Dhanya Katak directly, which was mentioned in NCRT. Second was Mahasangikas. UPSC directly could have also asked you, where was Dhanya Katak located? Why did it mention Mahasangika? That means somewhere this has an importance. And if you had prepared the sects of Buddhism and the schools of Buddhism in the right way, you would have known that Mahasangikas flourished in the south. I'll show you as well. Just a second. See, this was a document from the content which is there, right? See Chandraketu, but this is not a document which I've created in 2024, right? That means just now. This was a document which was given to students 2 years back as well, last year as well. Chandraketu, located in Bengal, known for terracotta sculptures, right? I'm not showing this thing, but I was showing you this. See, monks of the East, Mahasangika, spread to southern India. And if southern India they're talking about, which is the history pertaining to southern India? Is it Andhra, Gandhar, Kalinga or Magad? Tell me. भाई साउथ में कौन सा लग रहा है आपको?
Gandhar.
Gandhar is in
Andhra.
south. Who said this thing? Gandhar is in south. ये किसने बोला गांधार साउथ में? पहले तो ये बताओ. Again, is it an attemptable question? Yes, if you
Yes.
prepare in the right way. I'll show you धान्य काटक. मैंने आपको दिखा भी दिया था. This is धान्य काटक. जस्ट उससे ऊपर आके इस साल पूछ लिया. Do you know this map itself can give you 100 MCQs? And whereas we are hell-bent on solving 100 MCQs, but we are not looking at this map. कल को बोल देता है पैठान is in Uttarakhand. You might take it. Right? Clear है ये? So two hints which UPSC had dropped. One was Dhanya Kattak, which was mentioned in NCERT, and second is the Mahasangika. Right? Jainism, Buddhism, subsects and important places. This is the subtopic. Is mentioned in theme 1. Even if you do not have any idea. Magad could have been eliminated at least, because Magad is the region you read very diligently. Right? You know, I've read Magad from start to stop, but I have not read anything like Dhanya Kattak or something. This is similar to what we had said about Buddhism, that I've read about Buddhism, but I've not heard about Nayaput. I've heard about Shakyamuni, I've heard about Tathagat, but I've not read about Nayaput. Why cannot I say this thing about Gandhar and Kalinga? Because भाई इतना नहीं पढ़ा है हमने. So there could be a case something would have escaped my eye. Firstly, this question should have been attemptable directly. Secondly, if not, at least Magad should have been eliminated. Moreover, जो लोग थोड़े साउथ से हैं, मतलब उस रीजन से हैं, etymologically as well, this is sounding like a south word. Right? Again, मैंने कहा ना, if you know how to use this thing, बहुत, you will be at least 3-4 questions ahead indirectly. And this is not about using this thing in English only. There would be time when this thing would help you. Some translation, some word in Hindi would help you solve that question in English. We'll keep on looking at these things, right? And ये चीज तभी, this thing gets ingrained only when you solve these things. It is not like in the last 1 month you will do PYQs and you would be like, हो गया, right? Shall we move forward? On the factual side, this could have looked just like a question not attemptable, or if you know attemptable. But you look how many hints they have dropped here. Mahasangikas they have asked earlier. We'll see that later on as well. Right? चले आगे. All right. Next question. In reference to ancient India, consider the following statements. The concept of stupa is Buddhist in origin. Stupa was generally a repository of relics. Stupa was a votive and commemorative structure in Buddhist tradition. Tell me, is there anything wrong in this statement? It was a repository of relics. अब मान लो आपको relics का मतलब नहीं पता. Immediately go and look at the Hindi translation. You will find out. This is how the mind should work in the real exam. It should not be a relics. क्या होता मुझे नहीं पता. I do not know what relics is. Let me leave this question. Then you have not cultivated that mental strength which is required for this exam. And then UPSC is right in not selecting you. You're getting my point? My words might seem harsh to you. But if you are not displaying that mental strength, that you can survive under extreme pressure as well, how or why should they take you? Right? This is a very easy known statement. It is a general repository of relics. Remains रखे जाते थे उधर, right? As well as this is also an easy statement. It was a commemorative structure, religious structure. There is no doubt to me regarding 2 and 3. They are true. They are general statements. And based on my knowledge, they are highly likely possible. This is what I'm saying. The whole thing is about whether the concept of stupa is Buddhist in origin or not. Let us not go into debate of this thing. Tell me whether this thing is a specific statement or not. Is this a specific statement? That concept of Buddha is Buddhist in origin. The concept of stupa is Buddhist in origin. Tell me how many chances are there that the examiner can manipulate this statement? Can this statement be easily manipulated? Tell me one thing.
Yes, sir.
It can be. There is very highly likely possibility that it could have been Jainism, it could have been Hinduism, and they decided to drop the word Buddhism, right? What I'm asking you, can you relate to this simple thing that this is a specific statement which can be manipulated very easily? I'm not asking you whether it is wrong or right. ये समझ पा रहे हैं? Versus the statement number 2 and 3, which are highly likely more general, right? Now, what I'm seeing is या तो B होगा या C होगा. And considering that UPSC will most likely not trouble you with this pattern, you might be lucky कि शायद elimination से ही हो जाए, right? But even after that, NCERT was there to rescue you. Right? It contained relics. Relics. भागते रहो इधर उधर. It contained votive inscriptions. Right? अब देखो, this is your foolishness ना. Even after knowing these many things, if you keep running here and there, what is UPSC's fault है? किसका fault है? आप ही का तो है, और किसका? That you that you trust others more than you trust yourself. ठीक है. और क्या चीज इस सवाल को मुश्किल बना सकती है? सैंडविचिंग. भाई आसपास बहुत मुश्किल सवाल है. You got this wrong. Another thing which can make this question difficult or wrong, haste, जल्दबाजी. हाँ, बुद्धिस्ट है, बुद्धिस्ट. मैं, yes, this is बुद्धिस्ट. और ये haste ना, this has a peak. This hastiness has a peak. Right from, let's say, the exam starting at 9:30 to it ending at 11:30. This hastiness will be this. This has this sort of a graph. Initially you would be like कि हाँ यार फटाफट फटाफट करता हूँ थोड़े सवाल. That hastiness you might get it wrong. Then you would calm down a bit as the things proceed. And this time from 11:15 to 11:30, unnecessarily you will attempt 5-7 extra questions. Right? देखिए अगर आप इसमें है ना, either the answer is only two statements correct or one statement correct, right? Then to you should attempt. There's no doubt about it. But what happens? You're not sure about whether answer is A or B or C, or answer is A or B or C or D. But सिर्फ अटेम्प्ट करने के चक्कर में आखिरी के 10 मिनट्स 15 मिनट्स वी डू अटेम्प्ट इट. होता है ये. कैन एनीवन कंफर्म इट जिसने प्रीलिम्स दिया? does it happen with a lot many of you? Has it happened?
Yes, sir.
And उसका maximum result you might have seen. If you attempt 6 questions, 5 will go wrong. Right? तो पहचानना है. You should know when this panic button is pressed and when you should control yourself. Right? At the end of the day, क्या बहादुरी है 95 सवाल attempt करके if you got 45 wrong. Whereas on the other side, you attempted 85, you got only, let's say, 25 wrong, 30 wrong, right? हेस्टनेस में बटन नहीं दबाना है पैनिक का. ये मेरा कहने का मतलब. दिस यू विल ऑल्सो ट्राई इन योर रियल मॉक्स. ठीक है. That just because I have 10 minutes left and I need to circle 10 more options, I will do any and everything ABCD, right? खेल थोड़ी हो रहा है. This is not a play you are doing. It's entire year, 1 year of your life, which will again take you back to prelims 26 if you do this sort of silly thing, right? Shall we move forward? With reference to ancient South India, Porkai, Pompuhar, Muziris are well known as easy question. If you get this type of questions wrong, no one will save you. भगवान भी आपको नहीं बचाएंगे. Ports is a very, very known theme, and these are well known ports. Even if you read a basic text like Lucent, it's very easily mentioned in it. And let me show you again. अगर डाउट है हमें, पुहार तो हमने देख ही लिया था. दिस इज पुहार, राइट? अनदर थिंग, दिस इज 6th class NCERT. Nothing, fancy. We find evidence of trade in the Sangam poems. It describes goods brought into Pohar, an important port on the east coast. 6th class की NCERT, right? ये इजी सवाल था. ये गलत करने का मतलब है -4.66. बिकॉज डू नॉट assume योर कॉम्पिटिटर वुड बी गुड डूइंग इट रॉन्ग. इट्स अ वेरी नोन फैक्ट, वो उसको सही करेंगे. एंड यहाँ पर सीखने वाली बात क्या है? दिस places pertaining to this particular theme would be important, right? तो ये ज्यादा मुश्किल सवाल नहीं था. Which of the following explains Vata Kirutal, the practice of Vata Kirutal mentioned in Sangam poems? Kings employing women bodyguards. See, are you able to do any sort of etymology here? Breaking, Vata, Kirutal. Most likely, if you are from north, that would not be possible, right? कुछ भी possible नहीं दिख रहा है यहाँ पे. This sounding completely alien. I do not know what Vata is. I do not know what Kirutal is. And I even do not know ki where that word breakdown is. भाई वो इधर ब्रेक हो रहा है या इधर ब्रेक हो रहा है. I do not know this thing. So how will I etymologically determine this thing? That means etymologically तो I cannot go. Let me see options if they can help me. Kings employing women bodyguards. Okay, might be possible. Learned persons assembling in royal courts. I do not see any reason why this would be wrong or this would be right. Right? Young girls keeping watch over agricultural fields. Again, a very possible option. A king defeated in a battle, committing ritual suicide and starving himself to death. Again, possible. That means this is a question where neither the question statement nor the options are giving me any hint. There's a 25, 25, 25, 25% probability regarding this question, right? और लास्ट में क्या होता है ना, अरे वाओ 85 हुआ है, इसको भी टिक कर दो, बी, लेट मी टिक बी. 86, वाओ, बाहर आओ, -2.6 या एटलीस्ट -0.66. We are not getting any hint. अच्छे बच्चे की तरह, just like a good student, do not attempt that question. Right? जीरो हिंट ड्रॉप है यहाँ पर. अब कुछ लोग ना इतना आगे ले जाते हैं चीजों को, फिर मैं आपको बताता हूँ होता क्या है. मतलब दिस इज व्हाट आई फील. यू कैन हैव अ डिफरेंट ओपिनियन. यू माइट हैव read about the Sangam poems. थोड़ा बहुत पढ़ा होगा. And in Sangam poems, we do read that it is about the war and love, right? One aspect deals with love, another deals with war, right? Now, some say because war was mentioned in Sangam poem, that is the reason this was correct. भाई फिर तो ये भी सही हो सकता है, right? Yes, you might get this correct by this logic, but if you start attempting the exam with these sort of, unverified things, you are getting on the wrong track. You might get one question right, but you might get three wrong as well. And you're preparing in the wrong way. In the extreme scenario, you might get one right, but you might get nine wrong. Right? Where you do not have any idea about the question, do not attempt it. It's as simple as that. Getting it? Shall we move forward? हाँ, यहाँ पे लर्निंग क्या है? संगम. ठीक है. सवाल मुश्किल था, that's a different thing. But Sangam as a theme is important. Sangam literature is important, and UPSC is very mischievous in this respect. They will drop you a hint of Sangam in prelims, you expecting Sangam to come in Prelims 25, it will ask you Sangam in Mains 25. This dichotomy of Prelims and Mains, na, we will see again and again. For example, to give you a slight example of this thing, you might have seen how the importance of basic geography, especially climatology side, has suddenly become important in prelims as well and in mains as well. आप देखिएगा GS1 means we'll find that hint. Aurora क्यों पूछ रहे हैं? Why are they asking you this thing? And similarly in climatology, GS prelims, they're asking you very basic questions. You know, this thing is visible again and again. It is upon us to catch that hint. And what they ask in the previous year prelims has some sort of connection with the next mains. That mains has the connection with the next prelims, at least the themes. So be very sure about it. For example, twice 2023, 2024, in mains, they have repeated Vedic. Same similar question, exactly similar question. As if the examiner was short on the question and he decided to repeat that same question. Very high chance, very high chance you could see a decent question on Vedic period in this year. Mark my words. There's a very high chance. And it would be a decently difficult question. It would not be an easy question. Right? They explored that thing. Uh, Yords, right? 2023. FJORDS. GS1. Which is the landform wala part of geomorphology. 2025 could see a question coming from there. Prelims, I'm saying. Right? All right. थोड़ा सा ऑफ ट्रैक हो गए थे बट ठीक है ऐसी इनसाइट्स बीच बीच में आती रहेंगी and this only comes when we are discussing, so take note of these insights, right? With reference to ancient Indian history, consider the following pairs: literary work and the author. Devi Chandraguptam Bilhana, this is very easy known. Devi Chandraguptam is by
Shakhadat.
Vishakha Dutt, right? So this is wrong. If you do not know this particular statement, your preparation is at fault, right? ये तो नहीं होगा भाई. Then Mahakavya Nayachandra Suri, Niti Vakyamrita Somdev Suri. Most likely these are very difficult statements and we do not know this thing, right? Milindapana Nagarjuna. There was very confusion around this, whether this is Nagarjuna or Nagsena. Originally it is said that it is Nagsena, right? And some say that Nagarjuna and Nagsena are similar. But UPSC back then in 1997 had given two different options, Nagsena and Nagarjuna. Therefore, that shows us that UPSC interprets them differently. Nagarjuna is one, Nagsena is one, right? That means according to that, this would be wrong. I'm not saying ये exam hall में हो जाएगा आपसे. In exam hall, you might take it as right as well, right? एग्जाम हॉल में इट कुड बी पॉसिबल आप ए बी सी में से कुछ भी ले आएंगे आंसर बट वी आर नॉट कंसर्न्ड विद दैट थिंग वी आर कंसर्न्ड विद द एनालिसिस ऑफ दैट पर्टिकुलर क्वेश्चन राइट द थिंग इज यूपीएससी had considered Nagarjuna and Nagsena as two different entities and the similar thing has been repeated again. Official answer key takes it as wrong. Official answer key says that only two options are correct and we do know second and fourth option are definitely correct. Had UPSC taken this as the answer, then ये भी सही हो जाता. But for us now, from now onwards, Nagarjuna and Nagsena are different. and Nagarjuna is the person connected again with Buddhism, right? Many scholars UPSC, Buddhist scholars UPSC has asked, right? For example, this I showed you. This Vishuddhi Marg. This is the similar type of scholar. So the Buddhist scholars, the names of the Buddhist scholars, their works, that is very important, right? ऐसे examples और भी आगे. What I'm trying to tell you is, हमारा focus with respect to Buddhism is on the schools of Buddhism, the sects of Buddhism, right? The philosophy of Buddhism. But at the same time, the scholars with respect to Buddhism, during which time they were, right? And what was the most important work they had done, right? Clear है? भाई क्या करें, पूछ रहे हैं. मुझे पता है मुश्किल है. I know it's difficult, but we have to do. Or be prepared to lose one question. It should not have been lost. If it's a question which does not make a difference when we lose it, that's not an issue. But if it's a question which should not have been lost, that should be a point of concern for you. Right? एक और चीज यहाँ पर, which is off topic. See, let's say we come to the conclusion that this is wrong. In the exam hall, let's say we are assuming, right? So we are like 2 and 4 whether they are right or not, right? In this type of scenario, when we can see Suri and Suri, right? A scenario could be where they have interchanged, right? Or a scenario could be where they have not interchanged. If they have interchanged, the answer could be none, but none is not an option here. Therefore, there is a higher probability they have not interchanged this. And that means there's a higher probability this is the answer. Now let me conclude this question for you. In the first hint, you will eliminate one, right? This is clear. I'm concluding this for you. Then, if you are lucky enough, you might eliminate this. If you are lucky enough, which is a very, very rare chance, right? Then, what I'm saying you, let's say you do this thing, then you have an option between either this or this. What I'm saying is, I most likeliness, the answer would be none or both. Since none is not an option which is visible, both is the option we should take, which is this. That means you should not take only one as the answer. This is what I'm saying. Am I able to summarize this whole thing? देखिए अगर 3 एलिमिनेट ही नहीं हुआ तो बात ही खत्म. Then you are sandwiched bit. Then you are left with A, B, C or A, B or C. But if you happen to eliminate C, right, this Milinpana, and you have a choice between A and B, go with B. And I've explained you the logic behind that. Again, the probability thing. Probability will work in your favor when you take a B. Right? 10 सवाल probability approach लगाकर करोगे. If you take a probability, chances are 7 to 8 you will get right. 2 गलत भी होंगे. But if you do it in a haphazard manner, मन ये कर रहा है इसको कर देता हूँ. Chances are 8 गलत होंगे and 2 would be right. Right? So trust on the probability. It is not coming in a very random way. It is coming on the basis of the knowledge you have ingrained till now, the preparation you have done for this exam, the mock tests you have given. Your brain does not develop overnight, na? It has developed over a course of time. Trust it on this, right? ठीक है? This was one of the easiest questions. Hmm. You tell me. Souls are not the only property of animal and plant, but also rocks, running water, and many other natural. What do you think? Which particular philosophy would say
Jen.
this? Jainism, no doubt. And even if you have a doubt, this is what NCRT says. Entire world is animated. Even stones, rocks, water have life. NCRT. Right? और अगर आप ये if you get these type of questions wrong, again, you do not deserve to clear this exam. The words might be harsh, but this is the reality. Right? Next is with reference to Indian history. Alexander Ree, A.H. Longhurst, Robert Sewell, James Burgess, and Walter Elliot were associated with. They have given you 5 names and they're asking you whether they're related to excavations, press, churches, or railways. Most of you prepare modern history well, decently well. And if you would have prepared history well, you would have read this topic and this topic at least. दोनों पढ़ते हैं ना. And in that thing, we do not come across any such name. Because they're not saying with reference to British history. ब्रिटेन की हिस्ट्री की बात नहीं कर रहे. They're telling you with reference to Indian history. That means these particular people have some relevance in Indian history. And if I've read press, I have not come across any such name. That means this is wrong. This is wrong का मतलब है this the probability of this being correct is just 5%. The probability of this being correct is just 10%. Now I'm left with A and C. Archaeological excavations, establishment of churches. What seems like a more likely theme UPSC would take up?
Archaeological
Arch-
excavation.
Most likely, I would say that out of this 85% probability remaining, this has around 70%, this has 15%, or let's say this has 60%, this has 25%. Am I right? What will you go with, 60 or 25? देखो पैर पर कुल्हाड़ी मारनी है तो 25 के साथ जाओ. No one can stop you, right? But sensibility says you should go with 60%. And this was about that exam hall thing. अच्छी बात क्या है, यूपीएससी ने हमें ज्यादा परेशान किया नहीं था इसमें. एनसीईआरटी, right? The point of showing you the proofs is that you trust the preparation you are doing. भाई होगा उससे clear. It's just that you should have revised them 4-5 times so that with the required amount of confidence you can execute in those 2 hours. Otherwise, the scenario becomes that we keep doubting each and everything there because of the lack of revision, right? Next, consider the following pairs, the site and what they are well known for. Besnagar, Shaivite, Bhaj, Buddhist, Sitnavassal, Jain. I guess this is the most easily known one. Sitnavassal is Jain, right? You know Sitnavassal is Jain. This is the easiest one. Jain painting, Sitnavassal. लेकिन नहीं पता है तो this is wrong. ये easy fact. This is an easy fact. Bhaj is also easy. Karle, Bhaj. We know this is connected with Buddhism. नहीं पता है अगर तो you're wrong because NCERT does mention this thing. Right? Yes, this is difficult. Besnagar is not present in most of the regular sources. We might pick up. And when we, so the option would be, sorry, this is wrong, I've done. I know it would be either this or this. यहाँ पर फिर गैम्बलिंग है कि भाई आप बेसनगर को whether taking it right or you're taking it wrong, right? The point I'm trying to say here is, no matter what you are considering, whether you might consider it is Shaivite or not, when the word Shaivite comes in front of you, at least this much thing should ring in your head that it could be a Vaishnavite as well. बस इतना दिमाग में आना चाहिए. Why I'm saying this? Because if you take your mind up to that place, na, that it could be a Vaishnavite as well. If you would have read earlier Besnagar as Vaishnavite, click कर जाएगा वो. Yes, yes, I have read this as Vaishnavite. Somewhere I've read it. बट अगर हार मानकर बैठ गए, नहीं नहीं बेसनगर तो सुना नहीं, शेवाइट पता नहीं छोड़ो. At least that thing should go at Besnagar Shevite. The most likely second option could be Vaishnavite. Is Vaishnavite suiting more? If no, तो भाई देखो, it could be either B or C. But if Vaishnavite appeals you more, that yes, I've read it somewhere, then you should consider it wrong. Because again, I'm saying, is it a statement which can be easily manipulated? Yes, it is. इस टाइप का एनालिसिस चाहिए होता है हर क्वेश्चन के साथ, राइट? शैल वी मूव फॉरवर्ड? ये देखिए यही लिखा है मैंने इधर. तो द कमेंट्स, मोस्ट ऑफ द कमेंट्स हैव बीन रिटन, राइट, सो दैट रिवीजन में यू हैव एन ईज. अनदर थिंग, ये जो फर्स्ट वाली चीज है ना, दैट इज मैपिंग टू दिस एरा. दिस बेस नगर इज मैपिंग टू द पोस्ट मॉडर्न पीरियड, राइट? In that context, this becomes important. ठीक है, चले आगे. If you see, 2023 was slightly more attemptable than 2024 in terms of ancient history. I'm talking about, right? All right. With reference to Indian history, consider the following text: Neti Pakarana, Parishtapavan, Avadana Shatak, this Mahapuran. Very difficult. Which of the following are Jain text? भाई नाम सुन के ही चक्कर आ जाए ऐसे तो नाम है, right? And most likely, we have this instinct that I will leave this question. Again, why? This not only works against you, in that sense, you will attempt it. This also works in this way that you might skip it as well, where you might have needed, where a 10-second, 5-second stop might have helped you. नहीं ये तो नहीं आता चलो, बिकॉज आपने ऑप्शन देखे ही नहीं ठीक से. And this is clearly visible to me कि यार elimination type question this is. If I get a hold on one option and I'm confident about it, I might be able to eliminate it. है सही बात है? ये वो तो नहीं है ना only one, only two, only three, which will pose difficulty in front of us. This is like eliminate हो गया. If this gets eliminated, work is done. Right? Now, the thing is, avadana shabd, can you see? Avadana. Avadanas. Have you read with respect to Buddhism? Avadanas. No? Then your preparation was wrong because this is NCRT. And moreover, Avadanas UPSC has asked earlier as well. पिछले सवालों में भी पूछा है. If you were knowing Avadana, अच्छा बताइए. Let's say you know Avadana to be Buddhist. Chances of this being a Jain text are how much, probability wise? Tell me. How much? बताइए. Tell me. अरे मेरा सवाल सिंपल है. If you confidently feel that Avadana is a Buddhist text, then the chances of option 3 being a Jain text, कितनी परसेंट probability है उसकी? 1%, 2%, 3%? It is not 80% ना. That means I can safely say that this is the most likely culprit here. This is the weakest link. If I assume this to be weak link, भाई किस्मत अच्छी थी, ये ओनली वन ओनली टू में नहीं पूछा था. इट वॉज गुड that they have not asked in terms of only one, only two, only four. And because they've asked it in this way, and because I know about a particular option, I was able to eliminate it and get my answer. If UPSC is difficult in some areas, it is easier in some areas as well, right? That is why I keep on telling again and again, take every question on its merit. Do not let any preceding or succeeding question impact that question, right? And do not doubt everywhere. नहीं नहीं इतना ही मतलब डाउट कैसा होता है स्टूडेंट के दिमाग में. यस आई नो ऑफ दानास कैन बी एलिमिनेटेड, बट इतना इजी तो नहीं होगा सब, राइट? व्हाई विल यूपीएससी गिव मी सच एन इजी थिंग? You are assuming this thing based on the presumption that you are the most important child of UPSC. कि मेरे लिए इतना इजी क्यों करेंगे वो? भाई, it's a question which has posed slight challenge for you where UPSC is testing some sort of calmness, some sort of presence of mind. And if you have been able to execute that particular thing, you are on the right track. Trust yourself. The probability is working in your favor. The probability of three being wrong is how much? Around 95%. So if probability is working in your favor, why are you working against yourself? ये मैं आपको रियल एग्जाम हॉल के डाउट्स बता रहा हूँ दिमाग में जो आते हैं कि मैंने तो कल रिवीजन नहीं करी तो यूपीएससी तो शुड हैव पनिश्ड मी टुडे व्हाई इज इट गिविंग सच एन इजी क्वेश्चन यू आर नो स्पेशल चाइल्ड ऑफ यूपीएससी you are just like those 5 lakh aspirants who would be sitting there उनके लिए सब बराबर है ठीक है तो ये चीजें दिमाग से निकाल देनी अटेम्प्टेबल क्वेश्चन यस इट वाज समवन सेड महापुराना से एलिमिनेट किया था महापुराना वाला इज नॉट द कंक्लूसिव एविडेंस ना you can say 50% this might be right, 50% this might be wrong. How is that a conclusive evidence? Right? And सही है. Shall we move forward? तो एंड ये ऐसे ही नहीं आएगा अगर आप सोच रहे हो सुबह मेडिटेशन आई विल डू एंड दिस विल हैपन नो इसके बिना इट विल नॉट कम राइट दिस इज द कमेंट्री हियर इसको पढ़ लेना राइट अगेन द थीम हियर इज लिटरेचर Buddhist literature, Jain literature, right? Again, that personality wala question I told you, na? With respect to that Nagarjuna, I told you, Buddha Ghosh, right? They are hitting on the personalities as well. This trend started in 2021. It has continued up till 2024. Therefore, we have no reason to bypass this thing. Had UPSC stopped in 2024, even then we could have considered कि यार रुक जाता हूँ. But it had not. Right? See, the thing is, if UPSC is continuing something, na, there is a very likely chance that UPSC might continue it, and there is a very likely chance that UPSC might break it. ठीक है? Let's say ये 2024 तक हुआ था. 2025 में इसके होने के चांसेस ये भी हैं, ये भी हैं, और ये भी है. If एटलीस्ट आप इस लेवल पे तैयार कर नहीं जा रहे हैं ना then a question of this level you will not be able to attempt which others will be able to attempt. This is where you get lost. This is where you lose. अगर ट्रेंड ऐसा है let's say UPSC was asking something let's say 2023 तक then it broke that thing 2024 में नहीं आया then we can say probably this thing is seeing an end and it might not be repeated in 2025. Therefore, for that particular topic, even if we have a superficial idea, that would suffice. Because if that trend returns, either it will be a very easy question or it will be a hell difficult question. Easy हमसे हो जाए, difficult किसी से होना नहीं है. Right. Are you understanding how the last year should map your next year? And this is not about last year prelims, that also about the last year means, जैसा मैंने पहले बताया, करेंगे इसको भी, right? All right. ठीक है, तो ये पूछ रहे हैं आर्यदेव जैन स्कॉलर, दिकनाग बुद्धिस्ट स्कॉलर, नाथ मुनि वैष्णव स्कॉलर, बताइए। देखिए दिस इज एन इजी वन, ये ज्यादातर जगह मेंशन्ड होता है नाथ मुनि ना, बट स्टिल इन द एग्जाम हॉल मुश्किल हो सकता था ये, despite it being mentioned in the common sources. In the real exam hall, this statement could have looked difficult to you, right? All in all, मैं एक ही चीज कहूंगा, despite these three being mentioned in the source, it was not easy question, right? Because ये भी हो सकता था, even this could have been the case, even this could have been the, and this could have been the case. Till the time we do not have the perfect information. Having said that, मैं आपको ये कह रहा हूँ कि ये मेंशन जरूर है, right? That is why trust what you're doing. Some questions, some source will hit, some question, some source will hit. But if your source range is decent, you will definitely hit a decent number of questions, right? अलग अलग सोर्स के पीछे भागने से कुछ नहीं हो, ठीक है ना? ये देखिए आर्यदेव, हु इज ही, डिसिप्लिन ऑफ नागार्जुन, आया था नागार्जुन ऊपर, ठीक है। नेक्स्ट इज, इसको आई डू नॉट थिंक सो ज्यादा डिस्कस करने की जरूरत है इस क्वेश्चन को, स्टिल विल सी। अकॉर्डिंग टू कौटिल्या's अर्थशास्त्र, which of the following are correct? A person could be slave as a result of judicial punishment. If a female slave bore her master a son, she was legally free. If a son born to a female slave was fathered by her master, the son was entitled to legal status. अगर आपने ancient history, if you've read ancient history conceptually, and if you know the situation of those times, and if you know what sort of essence Arthashastra had, most statements could sound logical to you. भाई हो सकता था ना उस समय में ये, कि आप पनिशमेंट के कारण आपको स्लेव बोल दिया जाए, और if a king accepts you, the child could be legally free from the tag of slave, something of this sort, because slavery तो थी उस टाइम पे। All three statements are not sounding illogical to me or extreme to me. Therefore, I might take this as the answer, because I do not have any reason to take this as the answer. For me, A is equally good as B is equally good as C. But for me, D is greater than this. ये समझ रहे हैं आप चीज? If I have to take, if I have to mark on the OMR, in the exam hall, I will say D has more probability of being correct, right? And most of the coaching institutes also said D. यूपीएससी ने आंसर दे दिया बी। सो फॉर वन होल ईयर वी वर रिजॉइसिंग, मतलब जिसका सही हुआ दे वर रिजॉइसिंग, ओ दिस वाज करेक्ट, दिस वाज करेक्ट। लास्ट में पता चला ये तो गलती हो गया मेरा। सो यूपीएससी सेड दिस इज नॉट ट्रू। नाउ द सिनेरियो कुड बी you could not have attempted this question, वो भी ठीक था। You attempted this question as D and you got it wrong, वो भी ठीक है। Chill, this thing will happen, right? But just because of one question, you need not change the mindset with which you are thinking. That these statements sound logical to me according to the times in which we are seeing this statement. Getting it? गलत हो जाएगा, सबका होगा। And even if this question gets wrong, you will not be thrown out of the list because of this question. Right? यही मैंने लिखा। तो भाई क्या करें अब? I marked D, UPSC said B, what to do? You can't do anything about such questions. You might attempt it, you might not attempt it. दोनों बातें ठीक है। You might get it right, you might not get it right. दोनों बातें ठीक है। Unnecessary harping and crying on the one question is what is wrong. ठीक है? यहाँ से लर्निंग क्या है? मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट टेक्स्ट जो है, अर्थशास्त्र हो गया, अकबरनामा हो गया, राइट, दीज टाइप ऑफ टेक्स्ट, इट इज recommended you read 2-3 paragraphs on these text. Wikipedia पे you go, read them, what they saying, and obviously beyond what usual information is present in the NCERT regarding these text. Getting it? Any doubt? Next question. Ashoka's major rock edicts and the state where they're located. धौली उड़ीसा, एरागुड्डी आंध्र प्रदेश, जोगोड़ा मध्य प्रदेश, कलसी कर्नाटका। If you know, you know. You do not know, you do not know, especially considering this. Right? The good thing, this was an attemptable question. Jogoda is in Kalinga region. That means this is wrong. ये एनसीईआरटी का मैप है, no fancy map. Kalsi has been shown to be in the region of Uttarakhand. That means this is wrong. That means this is wrong. This is wrong. This is right, definitely. Dholi पता होता है. Dholi elephant, right? Have you heard that? Dholi elephant. So that would be a place in Odisha, no doubt. Yeraguddi could be a point of contention, how much you recall that thing, right? But most sources may the edicts and all they are mentioned. So this was not a difficult question. This is not like a question like Vata Kirutal, right? Or Sangabhuti, right? You're getting it? The horizon where the question should be attempted, the area where the question should be left, the horizon where the fight should be given, how your question can be made to get wrong by UPSC, trapping you, tempting you, attempt करो भाई क्या दिक्कत है, right? But temptation है वो। कैसे in the haste you do not have to press the panic button, right? जब ये सब चीजें accumulate होती है ना, then the result comes. So the result is knowledge, which gives you confidence, and the mental strength which you cultivate in the next 130 140 days. इसलिए what we learn from each and every question of UPSC na, it is way beyond what we think we are learning. इसलिए due to this, solving the real paper at least last 4 years helps a lot. करेंगे हम, वो भी करेंगे, राइट? ठीक है ना? कोई डाउट किसी को? We are done till 2022. From tomorrow we will resume. Okay, ये बच गया एक सवाल शायद. Okay, 2 3 ओ क्वेश्चंस हैं अभी तो. 4 क्वेश्चन है, रुको फिर देख ही लेते हैं. Won't take much of the time. Consider the following pairs: king and dynasty. Nanuka, Chandela, Jayashakti, Parmar, this. On the face of it, it can look difficult. But these two are mentioned in NCRT. That both of these belong to Gurjar Pratihar. Right? So that means this is correct. This is wrong. Right? That means ये तो गलत है. Based on NCRT, I'm saying. See, ये वो वाला trend है, which I was talking ना, UPSC has broken this trend. This trend started in 2020, 21, 22, 23. 24 में we did not see a question around it. Right? Question नहीं दिखा है. Probably इस साल lighter question could come. I'm not sure about the medieval. I do not think so. Medieval में they've asked this sort of chronology this year. Right? If this trend has been broken, most likely if UPSC intends to continue this trend ना, it will be relatively easier to moderate side पर रहेगा ये trend, right? That means if you prepare it just on the superficial level ना, chances of you getting the question if it is asked is very high. But yes, I have to confirm कि शायद medieval में नहीं पूछा है. अगर medieval में they've asked this thing, that means the trend is continuing. That means वो थोड़ा अच्छे लेवल पे कंटिन्यू होगा 25 में भी. मतलब तैयारी की मैं बात कर, राइट? सो इट डिपेंड्स. ठीक है ना? क्लियर है? सो दिस 3 and 4 बिलोंग्स टू गुर्जर प्रतिहार एंड 1 and 2 आर चंदेलाज. ये क्रोनोलॉजी क्लियर होनी चाहिए. द चंदेलाज एंड द परमाराज एंड व्हेन ऑल दीज हैड कम. यू नो ना अर्ली मिडिवल इंडिया की दीज किंगडम्स आर गुप्ता का एंड होने के बाद जब 3 कॉर्नर्ड वॉर हुई फॉर द कन्नौज, उसके बाद ऑल दीज किंगडम स्टार्टेड टू कम, राइट? द पालास, द राष्ट्रकूटास एंड गुर्जर प्रतिहार्स मिलते हैं वो. ट्राइपार्टाइट स्ट्रगल होता है. when that thing ends, then after this these kingdoms have come, the Chauhans, right? Chandelas. Getting it? Solankis. ठीक है? Mentorship वाले में I'll take a session on this as well, right? ठीक है? This is what I'm saying you. However, this has not been seen in 2024. जो थोड़ा सा मुझे डाउट है कि मिडिवल में ये है कि नहीं है. 99% वो नहीं है मिडिवल में. ठीक है, if that is not in medieval, that means UPSC is now going slow on this and having a superficial idea could work this year, right? Clear है? इसलिए PYQs को जानना इंपॉर्टेंट है. Where is the trend breaking? Where is it starting? To what extent it is starting? Right? All of these things will determine कि PYQ से what you gain. ठीक है ना? Next is, with respect to Sangam literature, consider the following statements. They are devoid of any reference to material culture. Word wise, statement wise ये extreme है, but we are not concerned with that. We are not concerned with whether a statement is syntaxially, semantically extreme. We are concerned with whether that is logically extreme. Is this statement logically extreme? That thousands and thousands of poems have been written and they are not giving any reference to material culture. Is it possible? The social classification of Varna was known to Sangam poets. By Sangam, we know it's an age from, let's say, 2nd century BC to 2nd century AD, roughly अगर हम ले लें. Social classification of Varna had come in the later Vedic age, right? ये कोई Paleolithic culture की बात तो हो नहीं रही है. That we will doubt this statement, whether the Varna was known to them or not. अगर यही स्टेटमेंट होता था सोशल क्लासिफिकेशन ऑफ वर्ना वाज नोन टू द मेसोलिथिक पीपल, वहां तो डाउट आएगा, राइट? विल डाउट दैट स्टेटमेंट. बट इज देयर एनी रीजन टू डाउट दिस स्टेटमेंट? नो रीजन. 100% reason to doubt this statement, 0% reason to doubt this one. संगम poems have no reference to warrior ethic. मैंने बताया था अगम. Moreover, even if you do not know that thing, again, this has similar illogical sense with as one as A. Sangam literature refers to magical forces as irrational. ऐसा नहीं होता. Most of these poems, most of this literature are written by wide diversity of people who would have had their own experiences. So mostly it would have everything in it. आज के टाइम में नहीं बोलता कोई इन चीजों को तो irrational, right? How about that time? How can it be possible in that time? So probability says 0, 100, 0, 0. अगर एक साल बाद प्रीलिम्स दोबारा लिखना है तो इसको इसको और इसको टिक कर दो. If you want to write prelims 1 year later again, tick A, C or D. If you want to go and write mains this year, tick B. ये मैं why I'm saying this thing. Some students come later that on the sheet I marked this. In the OMR I ended up marking this. होता है. I'm telling you about the real scenario. There is no salvation for this mistake. माफी भी नहीं है. Right? आपने अपना एक साल, your 1 year of your life, 1 year of the expectations, देखिए जो एक decent expectations होती हैं of your parents from you, आपने उनको हिट कर दिया है इस टाइप की मिस्टेक्स करके. ठीक है, उसके लिए कोई माफी नहीं है. किससे माफी मांगोगे? Some people start seeking sympathy. उससे क्या होगा फिर? It's your life. You have done that mistake. भुगतेंगे भी आप भी. You will be the final one now. You will be bearing the brunt of that thing. Another thing, sympathy से याद आया. Some people have a habit of seeking sympathy in this preparation. भाई मुझसे नहीं हो रहा, ठीक है, मेरे साथ बात कर ले. And then their total mindset shifts negative. Wow, you are so good. तुम्हें तो सब आता है, ठीक है. This is not my cup of tea. ये तो मुझसे नहीं होगा. एंड द होल आइडिया इज कि दूसरा वाला उसको कह दे कोई बात नहीं भाई, तू भी ठीक है, कोई बात नहीं, कोई बात नहीं. उससे क्या होगा? व्हाट विल हैपन? दैट इज अ 2 डे कंफर्ट, 3 डे कंफर्ट. 4 दिन बाद आपको भी नहीं दिखेगा वो. सो बी मेंटली स्ट्रांग इन दिस प्रिपरेशन. This unnecessary seeking of sympathy will not take you anywhere. It will definitely not show you your name in the list. इतनी गारंटी है. इसके लिए यू हैव एंटर्ड दिस एरेना. ठीक है. The world's tallest statue of Ramanuja was inaugurated by Prime Minister recently. Do you think this is a current affair which is of decent international national relevance? है. तो इसलिए इस पर एक स्टैटिक सवाल दे वास्ट. Which of the following correctly represents the teachings of Ramanuja? Answer is this, right? The point is, when we see such a current affair, we should know that yes, this is important. Filtering of current affairs is what I'm talking about. You will get 100 topics in front of you. Last में आधा घंटा बचा है. You should know which 10 I should revise. Based on what they have asked earlier, right? The Prime Minister recently inaugurated Somnath Temple पे circuit house. Again, that's current affair वाली चीज. Which of the following are correct regarding Somnath Temple? It is one of the Jyotirling shrines. Easy statement. It is. A description of Somnath Temple was given by Al-Biruni. Let's say we do not know this thing. Let's say we do not know this thing. Even then, tell me, how will you deny this statement? That Al-Biruni has not given a description of Somnath Temple. How will you say? Al-Biruni के सारे टेक्स्ट को लेकर आइए, sit with it, and then we'll come to a conclusion that yes, it was not mentioned by Al-Biruni. And the probability of doing that thing is nearly zero. कौन करेगा ये काम? Do you think the examiner, while framing statement number 2, had done this work? And more or less, moreover, if you know Somnath when it was in news, and if you know Al-Biruni, the time during which he had come, they overlap. These two things overlap, right? That means second statement is definitely right. One is right, two is right. Everything boils down to three. The Pran Pratishtha of the Somnath temple was done by President S. Radhakrishnan. A factual statement, this is wrong, right? See, if the choice in front of you is between A and D, na, and if D is a specific one, which is like Radhakrishnan, you have a higher probability by considering it incorrect. बस मैं आपको ये एक एनालिसिस बता रहा हूँ based on the number of questions which have been seen earlier. ठीक है? If you come to this sort of a conclusion that it will be either A or D, and the third statement depends on a very specific, less relevant fact, that fact most likely will be incorrect. Easily manipulate हो सकता है ये, right? Having said that, probability of this fact being incorrect is 80. Probability of this fact being correct is 20. Go with probability, right? Clear? As your chances of getting it right will be higher in this. Okay? All right. So we have discussed till 2022. I hope I was able to add something in your current knowledge of ancient history, or maybe the PYQ analysis you have done till now, right? Again, I'll repeat the same thing. It is not about what you do today with respect to this analysis. What will be important is whether you will carry this thing with you in the next 120, 130 days on, right? Because बहुत लोग, a lot many people, a lot many material will come in front of you, which will try to deviate you. ठीक है? आपने डेविएट नहीं होना है. ठीक है? There will be so many people who telling you ये छोटा करंट अफेयर भी इंपॉर्टेंट है, ये भी इंपॉर्टेंट है, ये भी इंपॉर्टेंट है. Even if, let's say, one question comes out of the 100 miscellaneous things you read, do you think the cost benefit is there? The cost is such so high for that thing, right? And in most likeliness, even if you read that thing, you taking that thing with you on May 25th at 9:30 a.m. is close to zero. Zero, right? तो जिस चीज में रिवॉर्ड जीरो है उसको मत करो, राइट? Concentrate your focus, your energy, your efforts at the right place. The results lie there. Revise the material which you are doing 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. The result lie there. ठीक है? Any doubt to anyone?
सर कोर्स में इस टाइप का जो अपने को ये हैंड आउट है, ये सभी सब्जेक्ट्स के लिए मिलेगा क्या? जैसे आपने हैंड आउट बनाया है पीवाईक्यूज के लिए।
हैंड आउट कौन सा? ये जो पीडीएफ जो हम डिस्कस कर रहे हैं ये वाली?
एग्जैक्टली सर।
यही कह रहे हो ना, तो पीडीएफ वी आर डिस्कसिंग
हाँ
जिसपे
जी, हाँ जी
पीवाई।
सर।
हाँ,
हाँ तो
तो
सर
ये
कोर्स में अपने को ये मिलेगा ना मॉड्यूल में, मतलब ऐसा?
इफ आई एम नॉट रॉन्ग, ताकि मैं आपको कुछ गलत ना बोल दूं, दिस इज द पीडीएफ यू आर टेकिंग.
सर यस सर।
हाँ, ऑब्वियसली तो मिलेगी. व्हाई नॉट? व्हाई नॉट? तभी तो इतनी डिटेल में स्टेटमेंट्स आई हैव रिटन, सो दैट भाई आपका टाइम बचे आगे.
ठीक है सर।
तो और किसी को डाउट कोई?
सर पहले
Yes.
हम्म,
जी जी, बताइए. कोई भी एक पूछ लो.
Okay, sir, I was asking like what should be our source for ancient history as per you?
एज पर मी,
Yes, sir.
एनसीईआरटीज आर मैंडेटरी, द 4 एनसीईआरटीज. उसके अलावा एक प्राइमरी सोर्स कोई भी, विच एवर यू हैव डन आइदर अर्लियर. अगर अर्लियर कोई नहीं किया है, पहले कोई नहीं किया है, सेफली यू कैन गो विद द तमिलनाडु बोर्ड बुक in a slightly filtered manner and then revise them 3 times, 4 times, 5 times.
Okay, sir. So NCRT not from 6 to 10, only 11th and 12th.
There are 4 NCRTs of ancient medieval: sixth, seventh, theme 1 and theme 2. ये 4
Okay.
NCRT.
Okay, okay. Thank
ठीक है?
you, sir.
You're
Yes.
welcome.
सर यू सेड इन अ फिल्टर्ड मैनर, यू मीन टू से इन द पीवाईक्यू टर्म्स और इन व्हाट अदर वे? वुड यू प्लीज क्लैरिफाई?
थोड़ा सा ना वो, क्योंकि तमिलनाडु की किताब है ना, राइट? तो वो साउथ की बहुत डिटेल्स आ जाती हैं उसमें कभी कभी, राइट? तो वहां पे आपको ये समझना पड़ेगा, बिकॉज दिस इज स्पेसिफिक टू साउथ, तो ये मुझे एलिमिनेट करना है, दिस आई नीड टू एलिमिनेट. So that is what I mean by filtered manner. Second, reasoning behind this thing is कि कहीं कहीं जगह पर बहुत डिटेल हो जाती है, which we might not be able to ingrain in our head. तो भाई वहां छोड़ के आगे बढ़ने में फायदा है.
Okay, sir. You mean to
ठीक.
say keep PYQ and themes in the mind and then filter out in this manner, right?
Right.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Welcome. Any doubt, anyone?
हेलो सर, यूपीएससी की जो वो एंशियंट मिडिवल और मॉडर्न बुक है सर, उसका सर वो भी स्टडी करना पड़ेगा ना?
समझा नहीं आपका सवाल.
सर जो मेन बुक है सर वो एंशियंट हिस्ट्री की, सर मेरे पास वो तीन बुक है, एंशियंट मिडिवल और मॉडर्न बुक।
आप इंक्वायरीज पर पूछ लीजिएगा अपना सवाल ना, कि कौन सी किताब है आपकी, मे बी विद द इमेजेस यू कैन शेयर. सो वो थोड़ा बेटर क्लैरिफाई करेगा कि क्या आप पूछ रहे हैं. ठीक है.
Hello, sir.
जी हेलो.
Sir, what about the R.S. Sharma?
सी आर एस शर्मा के साथ मतलब द होल पर्सपेक्टिव अराउंड आर एस शर्मा इज कि अगर आपने उसको, इफ यू हैव रेड इट 3-4 टाइम्स, ठीक है,
Okay.
एंड इफ यू फील कि यू कैन रीड इट अनदर 3 टाइम्स इन द कमिंग
Okay.
4 months,
Okay.
then go with R.S. Sharma, then do not go with Tamil Nadu and all, right?
Okay.
But if you feel कि आपने भाई एक आध बार पढ़ी है पहले, right?
Okay.
And it will not be possible for you to read that thing again. मतलब
Okay.
पॉसिबल मतलब कि बहुत बहुत डिटेल्स हो जाती है एक टाइम के बाद जाकर, राइट? देन
Okay.
आई थिंक अ मोर ऑप्टिमल ऑप्शन इज तमिलनाडु की बुक, राइट?
Okay.
बट
The thing.
न्यू एनसीईआरटीज आई फील दे आर मैंडेटरी, वो तो करनी ही चाहिए.
Okay, so the thing is this, the NCERT which I have done is R.S. Sharma only, along with the आपकी जो ल्यूसेंट है, मैंने मतलब न्यू एनसीईआरटीज आई हैव नॉट रिफर टिल नाउ. सो द थिंग दैट आई नीड टू डू इट, बिकॉज एज यू सेइंग दैट इट इज मैंडेटरी.
न्यू एनसीईआरटीज अकॉर्डिंग टू मी कर लेनी चाहिए एटलीस्ट एंशिएंट मिडिवल की. वहां पे बेनिफिट दिख रहा है, अभी तक दिख रहा है.
Okay, Asian and medieval, and sir, what about the modern?
नहीं, मॉडर्न के लिए इफ यू डू नॉट हैव टाइम तो उसको प्रायोरिटी कम दो, बट एटलीस्ट एंशिएंट मिडिवल की 4 किताबें जरूर करनी चाहिए.
Okay, so like modern, for modern I have covered the Bipin Chandra also and the Spectrum also. The both of the books I have covered till now. So what should be the priority according to you for the prelims as well, mains as well?
स्पेक्ट्रम ही रखो. बिपिन चंद्रा थोड़ी सी नॉवल टाइप किताब है, वही मोटी वाली बिपिन चंद्रा कह रहे हो ना,
नहीं
या
नहीं,
वो पतली वाली?
पतली वाली जो पुरानी एनसीईआरटी थी, ओल्ड एनसीईआरटी जो.
आई थिंक स्पेक्ट्रम स्टिल स्टे स्ट्रॉन्ग, क्योंकि मॉडर्न हिस्ट्री से सवाल दिख नहीं रहे हैं ज्यादा पिछले 2-3 सालों से. इफ द
Okay.
क्वेश्चंस विल कम दिस ईयर, इट विल अगेन बी स्लाइटली मॉडरेट लेवल के ही रहेंगे जितना मुझे लग
Okay.
रहा है. एंड
Okay.
वहां पर स्पेक्ट्रम शुड डू द जॉब, राइट?
Okay. And sir,
प्लस
what
द
about,
पीवाईक्यू ऑब्वियसली.
yeah, obviously PA. And sir, what about the culture book? Just like the I have read the Indian theme जो है ना, जो आपकी 11th क्लास की जो फाइन आर्ट्स की एनसीईआरटी.
कल्चर के लिए भी दो है. आइदर यू रीड गो विद द फाइन आर्ट्स, ठीक है, और यू
Okay.
गो सिलेक्टिवली विद द मोस्ट फेमस बुक, वो आपको नाम पता ही है.
हाँ, तो सर द थिंग इज कि जो फाइन आर्ट्स है सर, उसमें बहुत डिस्क्रिप्टिव है द थिंग्स ना. तो मतलब अगर इन दोनों में से अगर एक लेनी हो प्रायोरिटी भी, लाइक द थिंग,
जो
जैसे.
आपको ज्यादा कंफर्टेबल लगे ना, कि इसमें मैं ज्यादा कंफर्टेबल हूँ, बट इफ यू टेक द सेकंड बुक, गो विद इट सिलेक्टिवली, फिर उसको कवर टू कवर मत पढ़ने बैठ जाना.
ओके ओके ओके, ठीक है
ठीक है
सर,
ना?
थैंक यू. थैंक यू.
ओके. हाँ जी. और कोई डाउट? आई गेस वी आर डन विद द डे. ठीक है, आई होप द सेशन बेनिफिटेड यू. ठीक है, सो विल कंटिन्यू दिस एनालिसिस टुमारो, राइट? ऑल राइट एवरीवन, बाय.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
You're
sir.
welcome.